surround everyone is crying. All the light was fading like the light's back now.
Hello, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. So, first of all, I know I'm talking to people who escape with music and or musicians. Like you make music and you transmute with it, like yourself into it and through it. It's super cool. Okay, so another thing that I keep feeling, this is if you are going through something right now where I feel like I feel like a period of isolation again. Like, I don't know if I'm talking to the same, I know I'm talking to a lot of the same people, but I feel like there's a feeling of isolation and you're going into a period of trying something new. Like you're trying a new project or a new path, and it's totally different than, like, it's a result of your isolation period. Like you're ready now. Which is really neat because the forward, like reading the forward part of this future, sort of direction that you're headed right now, it's basically like you're going to lay down, it's like no more bullshit is what's going to happen, where it's like you're actually ready to step ahead and like kind of charge ahead. I keep feeling like they are supporting you, like your guides are supporting you, and I feel like your own sense of higher self and like your own sense of being and the reason that you're here is driving you forward now. You're like, okay, I'm on something solid and I am going to go all in. Very cool. Also, the very last part of this is like a victory feeling, which is pretty neat. Okay. So I feel like there's a peace that you're going to come to. And it's actually after you charge ahead for a while. So whatever you're doing, like, I don't know if this is professional or if this is just a personal thing that you're going to apply to your professional self, like as a step up, really. Even if you're staying in the same spot, in the same position, like I feel like you're holding yourself up to a higher standard. That's what it is. It's neat because I feel like with relationships, you're holding yourself to like what you actually want to get back instead of like accepting where they are and meeting everyone where they are at, You're like, no, I don't have time for that. Oh, that feels a little shady. I'm out. Like you're just whoever you are. It's like you got the message in the recent past to start letting things go, and you heard it. Like you listened. And I feel like the way you did that was you applied a strategic outlook on it, where you're like, okay, is this really fair? Is this really fair? And like whatever wasn't fair, that's what you were kind of, I think, observing and kind of sorting through in your isolation period. I think that music is something that gets to be a part of this forward thing too. I feel like they're telling you, this is so weird, but really cool. It's almost like, focus is such an important thing, no matter what you're doing, but especially when it's like a professional thing. And I feel like that what they're saying though is put more on, like put an extra expectation on yourself, like raise your standard with yourself, where you keep music in this area, or you do push yourself to like just practice a little more on this part, or perfect this more, or find a way that it feels the way you want it to feel, where it's like put yourself in that professional vibe that you put out, that you're ready to like up yourself in. They're like, up yourself in your spot too, because it's all going to take you forward in almost like, it feels like a rapid thing. Like this is going to be a rapid charge forward in a no BS land. Very cool. I think that in the past, you might have been taken wrongly for being straight to the point like that. Like I feel like I'm talking to someone who is stubborn, who has been stubborn. Maybe that was your worst attribute. It's like I feel like I'm talking to someone who had stubbornness in there to even look at your own maybe faults, in emotional aspects because you see things so, I think, almost mathematically. Not everyone, but like, just where you're like, they have to level up, they have to all measure up and make sense. And that's where I feel like you have like a level-headed, I feel like a level, clear view. I don't feel like you're overcome by yourself necessarily, like outwardly right now. Like whatever it is, I think you've learned from the past, is what I'm saying. And I do think music was kind of like your partner, like your friend when you didn't have one. I feel like music was that for you. It filled a void. Very cool. And it's exciting because I think that you're being super supported in the isolation coming forward. Okay, so something about the past though, I do think that you were received in an interesting way because it's almost like I feel like there was a harsh way that you spoke. And it may be, I don't know, like blunt, I feel like there's nothing wrong with blunt, but I feel like a lot of people are very, taken off guard when people are super to the point and super truthful, obviously. I know I'm talking to people that understand that. 100% sure that you're here. So it's like, because whoever you are, your forward motion is literally like, I don't have time for anything that isn't fully, transparently and evidentially, like you can see it, that it's real and true and nothing in the shadows. And I feel like in the past, you had a really, oh my gosh, okay. I feel like one of the things from the past that is this is a big thing right now. It's almost like some of you kind of have a disappointed in people feeling due to what's happened. Like, and I think that one observation that I just keep hearing these words is that like, and I feel like these apply to you in this reading, is that you've learned throughout many experiences and interactions with people that good intentions do not always get good results. And I feel like that is what has held you back. I don't think it's holding you back now. Like whoever I'm talking to, I think you've seen the evidence of your own chains, and I think you've broken them recently, which is really cool. And like that's why I think you're going into this new period, and it's gonna get like, I feel like it could get a little rocky. Like that's what it feels like, but I feel like they're saying go, like forward. That is really intense, really fast. It's crazy because I feel like not looking at your past wounds though, I think that's a thing right now where they're like, as you go forward, like you're stepping into a new area, but during this time where you're dismissing all the low vibrational stuff, like zone in on yourself, keep your insides moving forward. Like they're telling you to keep focus on every aspect of yourself that you want to progress in life in. And I think that you got hurt in the past. Like I feel like you got hurt in the past from your words not being received in the way that they were intended. And that's where I feel like you're going to come out to this, like, I don't know, it's like a fully aligned and like peaceful, but whoever you are, it's like a big energy. You actually have so much stuff going, like passion going on underneath. For whatever it is that is happening, like passion is like driving right now. Because in the last reading, it felt like an emotional upheaval, like an up and down. This feels like there's so much coming to the surface and you're letting it. You're like, okay, this is why I am the way I am. And you're like stepping forward really in a confident manner, even if it's not seen outwardly yet. Which I think is really neat. I think that you've let go of people, and I think I was wondering right before I started this reading, it was like I got this little feeling that some of you have little pockets of guilt, like with something. I don't know if it's with one connection or many, maybe even branching off of one, but it's like, I feel like some of you are kind of learning that you've punished yourself enough and you've felt that guilt and carried guilt for so long that it's like and I think that's the message too for a lot of you, is basically they're saying like you are not helping yourself just by carrying that guilt. Like it's time again to let it go. Like I feel like you've gotten good at letting things go that don't align with where you're going and where you're headed, but it's like they want you to let go of these little pockets of guilt, because it's like that's what it is. It's almost like it's really harsh at yourself in that way that like I think you used to say things and it would hurt people's feelings and you learned from it. Oh, that's what it is. It feels like I'm talking that this is not all of you, but I feel like some of you, that way that you could have hurt them in the past accidentally and definitely not intentionally. I think that is how you've kind of handled yourself in certain areas of your own mistakes and missteps in life. It's like you're really harsh on yourself in those things. And they're like saying, you're so stubborn, you're not allowing yourself to like see the human in those moments and see how the math added up to that thing happening, because it does. Like no matter what happens and what weird outbursts like people go through, it's all a part of the growth and like the upward motion. That's really cool. So there's something else that I feel like it's making me think. And I feel I keep hearing this song, which is really silly, and this is not going to apply to all of you, but I keep hearing that older song that's like, find me somebody to love, like somebody to love. I don't know the words, I just keep hearing that song in my head. But like, some of you, I think, feel so alone that you're like, am I going to find like someone to walk beside me there? And I know that that's not all of you. So, you know, that's definitely not the whole reading. It's just, I feel like at some point you're going to realize that you can have that if you want it. It's like there's so much choice in this. It's just like the people that have let go of relationships and stuff. Like you made that choice. And that's all there is. That's all there is. There is no end game until someone has decided no more, no more opportunity here. So I feel like with yourself, those guilt pockets maybe have gotten let go because you recognize, or maybe that's what this is though. I do feel like some of you are still holding them, where it's like you need to let those go the way that you've let other things go that you cannot change. You cannot change what has been done. But you can change how you carry it and how you go forward in your own self with it, because they're saying like hold yourself to a higher standard in all areas, and that has to happen in here too, where you're like, hey, I am a human and I did go through things that were a result of what I had experienced in my life too, or just like what I didn't know how to handle. Everyone goes through that at some level. And it's like whatever level that you flow at naturally, that's how intense that can get. So just remember that you're human. Okay, so going forward though, it is really positive, and I do feel like it's a very strong and independent like movement. Whoever you are, super independent and strong-willed. You are like, okay, I can see light at the end of this tunnel now, so I'm going to get to that, and then I'm going to step into this like lane. Very cool. Like super positive outlook, which is neat because before the reading started, it almost felt like there wasn't a positive outlook. So I feel like that is what you're moving into, and they're like trying to give you support and kind of give you like, it feels like they're trying to like blow you up, like, and make you feel like you are able to do this. Look what you have already done. What makes you feel like you can't necessarily, or that little pull that holds you back, it's just what like you hold against yourself, and they're like, let it go, let it go. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one there. I hope that's helpful. Subscribe to the channel when you are feeling like the readings resonate with you, no matter when you receive them, because that seems to happen where it pops up whenever it's time. And I hope you have a really good rest of your evening. Okay, bye.